Hello and welcome to another 101 class. Today, actually fitting of the old 101 class. The whole name of the 101 class. Because today, man, I am going to be your professor. You could even call me Professor Zoom. So sit down, stick around, and as always, enjoy. So just to get into the whole thing here, gotta get in the spirit of these things, man. You get the spirit, yeah. So I'm gonna spirit it up here. Woo, that feels nice. Woo-hoo. So I'm zooming it up for you guys. So yes, we're talking about Professor Zoom. Eobard Thawne, the Reverse Flash. One of my favorite villains in the DC universe. It feels good to do this one-on-one. I've been wanting to do this for years. And, but you know, sometimes I get sidetracked because there's so many videos that people want to see. Then finally I thought, you know what, I'm going to do it now because Flash is pretty hot right now. Reverse Flash is pretty hot right now. So, you know, here it is. Pulled out of my old archive. Flash number 139. Which is the first appearance of Eobard Thawne, aka Professor Zoom, aka the Reverse Flash. Ooh, the once and future Flash. So, the origins we're going to do here today are pretty much based on the original writings of the Flash and Return of Barry Allen. Keep in mind, Professor Zoom is a time travel character. He's from the future. He has come back to the past to fuck around with Barry Allen. So you have to kind of consider this before you go any further. When it comes to time travel stories, they're going to be convoluted. Because, like, first of all, I'm a huge fan of time travel. I don't know if you guys knew this or not, probably. I love stories like, I like Back to the Future. Stories like that, stories with time travel in them. Love them. Always have. It's always been something that I really, really loved. Always wanted to get my own DeLorean, have a flux capacitor, you know what I mean? And go back, get the almanac. Yeah, be Biff! I want to be Biff! I'm Biff! I want to be Biff one day. And always been a huge fan, you know. There's been other time travel movies too. Most recently, Looper, probably be a, you know, time travel movie. I enjoyed it, but just like Looper, just like everything else, the whole Professor Zoom Reverse Flash thing, because there's always, when you do a time travel story, there's always going to be a disconnect somewhere. So people, you're always going to tell yourself, well, this couldn't happen unless that happened, this can't happen unless that happened. There's always holes, and it's just the whole conundrum of time travel. If you change something in the past, will it affect the future? And if you change something in the past, won't it inadvertently affect yourself? And thus, when did that first start? When were you first in the past to begin this whole process to begin with? I know I'm talking in fucking circles right now, but you understand what I'm saying. Time travel has its flaws in the story. It just does. Because you don't know what comes first. So, this is a big problem with Professor Zoom's origin. It was retconned several times, and I'm just going to go by my classic story here, and then we're going to go with the Return of Barry Allen. So basically, in the original Flash, in Flash 139, what happens is, I think the book was from 1959, if I'm not mistaken. What happens is the Flash, you know, they're together in the city, and they're like, you know what? Let's do something cool. Let's do a time capsule. But instead of like burying a time capsule, you know what I mean, then digging it up, you know, which is kind of weird. Let's just fucking send the time capsule to the future. Because you can. Because the technology is there. Because of Barry Allen's cosmic treadmill. the treadmill to which he runs on so fast that it can take him to the past, the future, anywheres. The shit is awesome. The cosmic treadmill is phenomenal. And not that I want to get off point here, but there's a new series of DC figures coming out, 6-inch at the end of the year. The Barry Allen Flash figure will actually come with the fucking cosmic treadmill. Oh my god, it's worth... I'm buying that shit just because I want the cosmic treadmill. It's the beginning of my plan. Yes. Clearly I haven't ran on a treadmill in a while, but nonetheless, I will get the cosmic treadmill toy. So, because of the cosmic treadmill, time travel is possible. So what they do is they get all this shit from that era, put it all together in a time capsule, send it off into the future. Included in this time capsule is one of Flash's costumes. Also included in this packet from the past is an atomic clock. So once they sent it over into the future, Barry Allen's kind of like, oh shit, I'm doing calculations here, and because of the aging that's going to happen between now and then, because apparently if you send it in the future, even though it's just a day, the shit has aged, which is kind of weird. Doesn't happen to the people when they go back and forth, but it does the shit thing, apparently. I don't know. So it does. So the atomic clock suddenly will become an atomic weapon. So what happens is it appears in the future, and who do you think stumbles across it but Eobard Thawne? Yes, the Professor. Professor Zoom. Just known as the Professor back then. Because he's a smart guy. He's a smart criminal. So thing materializes. He goes in, gets the Flash's costume, realizes what it is. It's like, holy fuck, it's the Flash's costume. I can use this shit. So he takes off with it. What he does is that the Flash's costume has kind of like, I guess, Flash's like imprint on it, if you will. His speed imprint on the costumes. Kind of a little bizarre anyways, but with the technology in the future, very easy to replicate. So basically, he kind of Mickey Mouse's the suit as to become like this super fast suit. So if he wears the suit, he basically has a Flash's powers. And since he looks at the suit and is like, yeah, I don't want to go with this fucking red shit, you know what I mean? I'm going to reverse it, invert the colors, because I am the reverse Flash. He reverses the colors on the suit and then starts committing crime. Flash goes back into the future in order to stop that atomic time bomb, atomic clock that they sent off, and then actually runs into Reverse Flash and realizes he's a criminal, and they have a battle, and yada yada yada. Now, he will fight Zoom multiple times, both in the future and in the past. What Zoom does is, picture this, the villain, him like Zoom as a whole, Eobard Thawne, he is the Flash's worst nightmare. Why? Because he knows everything about him. He's from the future. He knows everything there is to know about the Flash. He knows Barry Allen is the Flash. He knows about all the other Flashes. He knows everything. He knows what's going to happen before it does. He's a fucking dangerous cat. So, all this fighting that goes on, the Reverse Flash finally decides, you know what? I'm going to hit Barry Allen where it fucking hurts. So, he murders Iris. Yes. Flash's wife, Iris. Zoom murders her. And for those of you who've been watching the Flash TV show, kind of ironic, because he murders her the same way that Cisco, spoiler warning, that Cisco gets murdered by Zoom. Vibrates his hand really fast and it pretty much puts it through her. So, he kills her. Then the Flash is fucking pissed. Flash is pissed. So, they'll continue the fight. Then eventually, Flash finds a new chick, Fiona, and Zoom's like, no! Motherfucker, you can't be happy! No happy for you! So he goes and tries to kill Fiona. And then Barry Allen is like, whoa, you know what? This is a bit too much. You've already killed one love of my life, and now you're trying to kill replacement chick. So, no Zoom, no, bad boy, breaks his neck. So he kills Professor Zoom. he kills the Reverse Flash. So Reverse Flash is dead. And that's the way it stayed for decades. Then what happens? DC decides, this would make a good story. How about we throw a curveball to the fans? And it was actually pretty cool. And this was, when I was reading this when it came out, it was actually pretty interesting because you're like, oh fuck, this is kind of weird. So we're pushed into a new storyline years later called The Return of Barry Allen. Because Barry Allen was killed off in the Infinity Crisis, or supposedly, you know, we're going to say Infinite Crisis. Holy fuck, man, I got the Infinity Gauntlet on the mind. Infinite Crisis. So, he was supposedly killed in the Infinite Crisis. Him, Supergirl, you know. A lot of shit happened in that miniseries. It's actually a pretty good series if you never read it. So, Barry Allen's gone. Right? Gone. So, next thing you know, this dude shows up at Wally West's house. And for those of you who don't know, Wally West is the current Flash at this point. Basically, he's the nephew of Iris Allen, Barry's wife, or ex-wife, or dead wife, or whatever you want to call her. So technically, I guess he's a nephew of Barry Allen too. So he took over the Flash. The moniker took over, you know, with the ring and the suit and all that shit. So it took over, and so dude shows up at the house, at the West house. And it's like, hey guys, it's me, it's Barry, I'm back, bitches! I am fucking back from the dead. Yeah! And they're like, holy shit, it's Barry. Fuck Barry, come on in, dude, what's going on, what's going on? So, little do they know, this new Barry Allen has a secret. And I guess you're probably going to guess what it is before I even get to it. But it doesn't matter, I'm still going to go there. Woo. Alright, so, he has a secret that we learn later on, because at one point when they go visit the Flash Museum, Barry goes a little crazy on Wally West and kind of tries to kill him. And actually thinks he killed him. And then that kind of leads Wally to think, oh fuck man, what's wrong with Barry? It's not normal. This is not normal. Barry wouldn't do this. And then he comes to the realization after he finds a book. A book that's called, and I don't even remember what the name of it is because it's been so long since I read this story, but I know it's basically the book about the life of Flash. The biography of Flash. So, in this book, everything's in there. All the story of the Flash and everything. And then we learn that the person who brought this book, the person who says he's Barry Allen, is actually Eobard Thawne. The Reverse Flash. Yes. Yes. In this rendition, which kind of follows the original storyline that had Reverse Flash in, but then kind of doesn't at the same time. Keep in mind, this shit's gonna be retconned a lot. Basically, what happens is, in this future, Zoom exists, but Zoom's like, you know what? Fuck, man. I hate this fucking civilization that I'm in. It's boring. It's shitty. I don't like it. But you know what? I'm fucking infatuated by this Barry Allen character. A superhero. You know what I mean? I love to have superpowers. I like to be a superhero. I worship this dude. So I'm going to go and get some fucking cosmetic surgery to look just like him. Kind of like fucking tweeters do today. To look like fucking, I don't know who they look like now. I don't know, fucking Bieber? Whoever. I don't care. Yeah, this Metaflora, I fucking remember what the name is. He has this procedure in order to make himself look exactly like Barry Allen. So he kind of and his brain is kind of fucked up. So he kind of becomes like Barry Allen, like, I'm Barry Allen now. I'm Barry Allen now. And then he collects Flash shit. Kind of like I collect Transformers and every other fucking toy line of the 80s. He collects Barry Allen shit. So what he does next is he's just antiquing. And it's like, holy fuck, look at that! It's the Cosmic Treadmill! Yes! He finds the cosmic treadmill in a fucking antique store. Imagine the odds. That's fuck up. That's like a Honus Wagner in the attic. It's crazy. So, he finds the cosmic treadmill, wants to buy it, can't really buy it, so fucking kills the guy, kills the pawn shop dude, man. And then takes the fucking cosmic treadmill. The holy grail of Flash collectibles. So now he has a cosmic treadmill. He has the knowledge of the Flash. He looks like the Flash. And he's like, fuck, you know what? I'm bored of this generation. I've got the cosmic treadmill now. I want to go meet the Flash. Because I love the Flash. Flash is cool. I'm going to go meet my hero, Barry Allen. And be like, hey Barry, look, to fucking look just like you. Because I'm a little fucking crazy. And so, he uses the cosmic treadmill to go back in time. Unfortunately, he lands years after Barry's death. So he doesn't land in the era where Barry Allen's still alive. He lands after the Infinite Crisis. So, when he lands, he's disoriented. He doesn't really know where the fuck he is. Time travel kind of messes with your brain, apparently. I don't know. Apparently it does. And so, he lands, he appears, drops the book, loses it, loses the diary, and then proceeds on his merry way. Where does he go? Well, fuck. Big fan of the Flash. He goes to the Flash Museum, of course. The holy grail of flashiness. Everything's flashing. So he goes there to the Flash Museum. Gets into the Flash Museum. Just looking around at this shit. Like, oh, fuck yeah, this is cool. Look at that Barry Allen. Yeah, that's cool. Oh, his life, everything. Yeah, beautiful. Oh, no, his wife died. The hands. Professor Zoom. Reverse Flash. Okay, keeps going. All right. Blah, 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 blah. Then he gets into the villain, the Hall of Villains. You know, oh, Captain Cold. Ooh, he's gonna freeze me. Help me. You know, he goes through the villains. And let's face it, the Flash is, his villain pool for the Flash, extremely shallow. But Zoom does make up for it. So he goes through the hall, and at the end of the hall is basically the, I want to say tribute, we'll say the museum display, or the museum exhibit, for Flash's worst enemy, the big enemy, the Joker to the Batman. Now, keep in mind, in all of the manuscripts in this biography that he has about the Flash, it is never mentioned who the Reverse Flash is. All you know is that there's a Reverse Flash, and he fucked things up. You don't know who he is. The reason for this is because they knew in the past or the present, they knew that later on Zoom or Thawne, whatever you want to call him, Reverse Flash. It's got like 3 names. Sorry, that's just the way it is. They know that in the future, this is where he comes from. He'll become Zoom. But they think that maybe if we don't print about him today, we don't let him know who he is, that it might not happen. You understand what I'm saying here? If they print his name in print in the book, then everybody's going to know that Eobard Thawne is destined to become Zoom. So they thought, well, if we don't put it in there, we don't print that shit, maybe there's a possibility that that won't happen. Well, it does. And it happens right there. Because as he's walking through the Flash exhibit and gets to the last place, the last exhibit, he's like, holy fuck. There it is. The Flash holding down Thawne. That's like the picture. Or the mannequin. And it's like, Reverse Flash, Eobard Thawne. Future. Like, he literally goes into a psychotic break. Like, holy fuck. I'm destined to be the Flash's biggest enemy. That's me. I caused all this fucking shit. I killed his wife. I did all this shit. Just can't take it. Brain can't handle that. Can't handle that process. So, because of that, he's like, no, I'm not going to let that happen. I'm going to hide. I'm going to hide myself into one place where nobody would ever think about looking for me, and that's in the Flash itself. So he decides, I'm going to go around acting like Barry Allen. People will think I'm Barry Allen, I'm back from the dead, and then none of this will happen. So, for a little while it works. Then he starts getting crazy. Then he tries to kill Wally West. And then Wally finds the diary. And Wally realizes, oh fuck, this is Zoom. This is Zoom basically looking like Barry. And so what he does, he goes to the Flash Museum. He gets Zoom's old fatigues. These guys here, this costume here, but on a lot fuller. And then he goes up to Zoom during a fight with him by saying, hey, you know what? I know who the fuck you are. Take your suit. Does this ring a bell? And then Zoom just puts it on. Like, there he is, Professor Zoom. So, basically, couldn't prevent it from happening. Reverse Flash was going to happen. You could try to hide his name out of the book. Didn't matter. It was destined to happen. So, they fight. Green Lantern is involved too. The other Flashes are involved. They all fight, you know what I mean? But it's weird because Zoom is advanced in the sense that he is what the Flash will become later. That's why him and Barry always had good fights, because he's kind of like the equal, because the powers are the same. Because even when he fought, you'll notice that in the new series that it kind of looks like that's what the TV series I'm talking about here. It kind of looks like that's what Harrison Wells, aka Eobard Thawne, is doing. Is kind of letting Barry progress to get faster, so that he can use his power. You know what I mean? And he can become the Flash of the future. Kind of, instead of the Flash, the little Flash as he's starting out. You know what I mean? Anyways, so basically, so they fight. And then after Wally West is like, oh fuck, I can't beat him. He's faster than me. I can't beat him. But he's mentally unstable. So we can play with that a bit. So the flashlight looks over and there's a cosmic treadmill. And then Reverse Flash is like, fuck, I'm going to destroy the cosmic treadmill. I'm going to destroy it. That way I'll be stuck here forever and Barry Allen will never find me. Meaning that all Barry that's dead will go into the future eventually and never find him because he's here hiding in the past. But in the past after Barry's died. So you can see how this gets kind of convoluted, a little weird. And then he goes to destroy the cosmic treadmill. And then Wally West, the current Flash, is like, whoa, dude! Do you realize if you destroy that thing now, it'll never exist in the 400 years in the future, where you're from, for you to take and come back here. Oh my god. You're gonna blow his fucking mind. So Reverse Flash is like, what? No, you're only saying that shit. Stop trying to fuck with my brain. Stop it. Because already he's going fucking loopy. It's like, no, dude. You break that shit now. That shit's not going to be there in the future. You're not going to find that in an antique store. You're not going to come back. So it's like, ah. So finally it's like, fuck it, I can't break it. Then Flash goes even deeper into his brain to try to fuck him up. He's like, you know what? With this treadmill, I can go anywhere as I want. I can even go back to the time when you were a baby. Professor Zoom, I can go back to when you were a baby and just fucking take you out in your crib. And you're right there. You wouldn't even have a chance. And then Zoom's like, oh, what? You wouldn't do that? He's like, fucking right I do that shit, man. I'm going to go 400 years in the future and fuck you up as a kid. End it right there. And you're not going to get to do any of this. Naturally, you know, Flash wouldn't do that. Flash is fucking around with him. And then Zoom's like, no, 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 I'm not safe. I'm not safe anywhere. So he starts fucking running on the treadmill, wanting to go back to the future. Bloop, and then he goes back into the future. Back to where he's from. Where he will land. Psychiatric hospital. Weirdly enough, I don't know, that's where he lands. And he'll land there, you know, insane. And they'd be like, okay, well, I don't know what happened. But all he'll have to remember is kind of like this logo of his costume ripped off. And that's it. And that's all he'll know. That's kind of the way it ends. With the retcons, though, to come in afterwards and all that. When Barry Allen actually does come back in the rebirth, you know what I mean? The return, the rebirth of Barry Allen, you know, just like when you had for Green Lantern and all of them, you know what I mean? Barry came back. Now, when Barry came back, there was a huge hinting that Zoom would come back. Then in Blackest Night, Zoom did come back, you know, as a bearer of the you know, the Black Ring. And then after that, when Brightest Day happened, in order to stop Blackest Night, Zoom was just back. Fucker's back. So that's where he stands in the timeline now. He's back. He is the man. He is fucking awesome. And if you're watching the new TV series of The Flash, the second the TV series of The Flash was announced, right away I was like, see, I don't, you guys are gonna get mad at me here. I don't watch Arrow. Probably because I don't really like the character of Arrow. I haven't watched Gotham yet, although I probably will, but I haven't yet. Just there's not enough time in a day. But I wanted to watch The Flash because I knew that, I mean, with the villain pool so shallow, they would have to have Professor Zoom Reverse Flash in the show, and they do, and it's awesome. It's fucking awesome. If you haven't checked out the show, check it. Because every week you're like, you just see that little fucking little flash, and then fucking Harrison Wells goes in his little room and checks shit out like the fucking, like the Infinite Crisis paper saying saying fucking Flash is dead, and all this shit, the fucking costume and the ring, and you're like, oh man, fuck, this is awesome. Yet they kind of throw a curve in there too, because they're like, is he really Reverse Flash? Or is it somebody else? Is it Eddie Thawne? Because Eddie Thawne and Eobard Thawne, they're fucking almost the same names. So you're like, maybe it's him. And then you see when he runs towards Eddie, when he was trapped, and he grabs him and is like, pushes him aside. Like, you're like, fuck, why didn't he take him out? He's not taking it out because it's him. You're thinking it's him. But then you're like, no, it can't be him because it's so blatantly obvious that Harrison Wells is Reverse Flash. But you think he's got the Thawne name. Where's the disconnect? And then after you learn the whole shit that, oh yeah, Eobard Thawne is Harrison Wells, and then fucking buddy, Eddie Thawne, is actually a distant relative. So the whole Barry Allen and Iris getting together is probably going to piss off Thawne, and then it's going to start a feud. Just like there's a feud in the comics now between the two families. It's fucked up, and it's awesome. So yeah. Anyways. I'm going to stop now. That concludes my 101 class on Professor Zoom, the Reverse Flash. The coolest Flash villain, and probably one of the coolest DC villains, at least in my book. I'm a fan of Zoom. I'm a fan of Mr. Freeze. I'm an outside of a boxer. Maybe, if I get enough tweets and requests, my next 101 might be based on a puppet that has no strings. It's the Age of Ultron, and it's coming. Take care, guys. Later.